What is the number one reason why most couples break up? And can it be avoided? Stick around to find out. Hello and welcome. My name's Heather. I'm a registered professional counselor and a certified life coach. I've had my private practice for about 9 years, and I help people get through difficult breakups that are keeping them stuck from living their fullest lives. Today, I'm going to talk about the most common reason why couples break up, why that is, and what you can do to avoid it. By the end of this video, you'll learn a really easy way of communicating your feelings that's effective and powerful. So let's get started. First off, what is the number one reason couples break up? Studies have shown that the number one reason is because there is a lack of communication. Let's talk about the different reasons as to why people don't communicate. The first reason is that they don't really know themselves. People get together before knowing who they are well enough to even begin to communicate what their needs are or how they're feeling. You need to have a strong sense of self and a clear idea of what your preferences are, what your beliefs and values are as well. This can be especially difficult for people who jump from one relationship to another without really spending time alone and giving enough space between their relationships. When we're alone, we get to learn about who we are. We get to spend time doing things we enjoy, and that's how we strengthen our relationship with ourselves. You can't communicate your feelings if you don't know what or why you're feeling a certain way. And if you don't know it, then your partner sure as heck won't know either. Another possibility is that there is a lack of self-differentiation. The self-differentiation theory was developed by Murray Bowen, and this theory applies to human development and family dynamics. His theory has two major parts. The first part being that differentiation of self is the ability to separate feelings and thoughts. Undifferentiated people cannot separate feelings and thoughts. When asked to think, they are flooded with feelings, having difficulty thinking logically and basing their responses on that. The second thing is that they have difficulty separating their own feelings from other people. They look to family to define how they think about issues, feel about people, and interpret their experiences. This is also very common in relationships, as they will start to look to their partners to understand how to think or feel about certain situations. So you can't really express how you're feeling if you don't even know if what you're feeling is your own experiences and feelings towards a situation, or if those are feelings that you're taking on from others. The easiest way to start identifying your feelings is to keep track of your moods and to check in with yourself. Now, there's a lot of free apps out there around mood tracking, so I highly suggest that you find one that you like and that you're able to stick with. It can be helpful for people to know what attachment style they are, because that can also give them clues around how you and your partner communicate. For example, if one partner was anxious and the other partner was avoidant, there's going to be some serious challenges around communicating with each other. If you're not sure what attachment styles are, check out my other video afterwards. I'll put the link up here. The second reason why most people don't communicate is because it stems from fear. Fear of being judged or being vulnerable. When we communicate our feelings, we then become responsible for them. And I think a lot of the time, people are uncomfortable with being responsible and owning what they're feeling. It could also be possible that people might have had a negative experience when they did express themselves in the past. and they've learned that communicating their feelings is not okay. Again, that's why knowing yourself is crucial and a vital part of being in a relationship. The third reason why people don't communicate can be explained by their upbringing. So, taking a look at their family dynamics and the communication styles that were taught to them. I think the main reason why it's difficult to communicate how we're feeling and what our needs are is because we were never taught or properly modeled how to. Our culture and societal expectations can also play a huge role. I know in my family growing up, we never really discussed how we were feeling or taught how to navigate our emotions or express them in a functional way. It's more socially acceptable in Western societies to be more open and talk about our feelings and to celebrate our individuality, whereas in Eastern societies, it's more collective. So there's less emphasis around individuality and ourselves. It's not to say that one is better than the other, but it's important to acknowledge the differences because sometimes this can cause conflicts and communication breakdowns in relationships. Just take a look at any episode of 90 Day Fiancé and you'll see what I mean. Then there's also gender roles to consider, in that women are perceived and taught that it's okay to talk about and express their feelings and emotions. Whereas for men, it's considered weak or not masculine. And it's really sad because as human beings, we all have the same feelings and emotions. And it's sad to see that based on your gender, that expressing your feelings isn't okay, when in fact it is healthy and normal to want to talk about things. And we really need to start normalizing that as a society. And I think we're kind of getting there, but there's still a long way to go. When it comes to the gender roles, men are taught to push their feelings down and not express it or to get over it. And it's really hard for them because then it also translates into how they communicate with their partner in the relationship. The fourth reason why people don't communicate is because we expect the other person to know. And this kind of ties in with the self-differentiation that I mentioned earlier, right? So we expect that our partner should know how we're feeling, and we're also influenced by how our partner is feeling. Again, this happens quite often, and I've also been guilty about this in the past. And it's one of the main contributors to miscommunication. For some reason, we get this idea that since we're in a relationship with someone for a while, that they should begin to read our minds, or we assume that they'll have the same reactions and feelings that we do. And this is really unfair, and it's an impossible expectation for anyone to have. And by expecting the other person to know exactly what we're thinking or feeling without talking about it, you are setting them up to fail, which will cause more conflict in the relationship and will make you less likely to open up and communicate because you feel that they don't understand you. But in reality, they weren't given that opportunity to understand you. So, what can you do to strengthen your communication? If you're having troubles communicating your feeling, try the feedback formula. This is something that I learned in my counseling training, and it basically goes like this. I feel, feeling word, when you, behavior, and as a result, consequence, I would like to ask that you request. For example, I feel hurt, scared, or frustrated when you are out late at night and you don't let me know when you're coming home. As a result, I get anxious because I'm worried that something will happen to you. I would like to ask that you call or text me so I know you're safe and I know when to expect that you're coming home. Now, this takes practice. When you are using this formula and you're saying, I feel, you're actually using a feeling word and not something like, I feel that you don't care about me because you didn't text me when you were out late. No, don't do that because then you'll end up blaming the other person and not taking responsibility for your own feelings, and you avoid being vulnerable and the opportunity for your partner to take care of you. This is a really sneaky way of using the feedback formula. So do your best to try to avoid blaming or shaming the other person and really focus on how you're feeling and using feeling words. Can you imagine if everyone was taught how to communicate with each other at a young age? There would be so much less emotional baggage when we're adults. We would be so awesome at communicating if we all learned how to do this at a young age. Question of the day. How are you going to use the feedback formula in your relationship? Share your formula below. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I put new videos out every week, and hit the bell to get notifications. Until next time, be kind and love yourself.